let's stay with politics and elections, because there are all sorts of elections. Next weekend in Kwara State, there will be nationwide elections. Congress elections nationwide from next week. Now, we just sort of picked out Kwara State because it looks like I don't know. Fortunately, Dari has been following this story, and in fact, you did an in-depth piece on the situation in Kwara State. You seem to give the impression in that piece that things might not go as smoothly as we've been talking about in Plateau State, even though even that one you put it in quotes, successful, if you want. For whoever wants to be a bit cynical, you could put it in quotes. What are the circumstances in Kwara as we, go into this? Thank
you, Priori. The next weekend, this weekend's election in Kwara is a Congress, State Congress of the ruling All Progressive Congress. The APC in all the 36 states of the Federation will be electing new leaders for its the chapters of its party in those states. Well, talking about, don't forget that this election was actually supposed to hold 2nd October. But the national leadership, the national caretaker of the APC announced that it was postponing. The reason given was to allow the nation to celebrate
the independence.
But checks revealed that election could not have held at that time without chaos in some states. Some states had and are still having serious issues. And unless these issues are resolved, going into the state congress may throw up some issues that would end in a factionalization if care is not taken. And Kwara happens to be one of such states. In Kwara State, you will recall that in July, when the World Congresses were held, in spite of stern warnings by the National Director that if you engage in parallel Congress, you will be dealt with, Kwara is one state where parallel Congresses were held. Two factions, or two groups now, as the party insists there are no factions. Two groups. One, loyal to Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, the governor of the state. And the other, loyal to the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed. These issues have been there. Bolaniwa Bashir was, until recently, the chairman of APC in Kwara State, while Abdullahi Samari was his deputy. But the infighting between Lai Mohammed and the governor led to a situation where Bolaniwa was removed by the national leadership of the party and replaced by Samari. And the argument, the allegations are that the national leadership aided the governor to have his own man in office so as to whittle down the influence of the minister. This happened. The local World Congresses came. Lai Mohammed faction held their own. The governor held his own. Weeks after, the national leadership upheld the results of the governor's faction, while Lai Mohammed's faction decided that no, we won't take it, and a few of them went to court. And the next thing to happen was that supporters of the minister were suspended by the APC. The local government congress came. The same scenario repeated itself, with the congress being held by the governor and his men alone, while supporters of the minister alleged that they were shut out of the process. These issues are yet to be resolved. Bolaniwa is claiming to be the state chairman of APC in Kwara. Samari, being supported by the governor, claims to be the chairman of the party in acting capacity in Kwara. We have had prominent leaders of the party supporting either of these two divides. While you have those who are saying, like Akogun Yedepo, a staunch supporter of, a staunch leader of the party is saying the governor should be blamed for the crisis. You have all the National Assembly members from the state supporting the governor, while many members of the state assembly are on the side of the minister. So as it is, the APC in Kwara is divided down the line.
Down the middle.
Down the middle. And if they go into, a state congress, which is the last process before the national convention. Don't forget, it is at this state congress that delegates for the national convention will also be elected. Don't forget that delegates coming to vote at the state congress should be representative of all the interests in the party. Should the state congress hold with the aggrieved faction still dissatisfied, it could lead to factionalization of the party, and it is obvious. So, and that's the scenario for now.
So it does look smart, as if to put it as delicately as possible, it's a complicated situation in Kwara. And you were just observing that it's not just in Kwara.
It is not only just in Kwara. Yeah. Osun is having the same issue. And even, I think it is your station, they brought both, somebody was speaking for the Minister Aregbesola, and somebody spoke for Oyetola. Sometimes when you look at it, you see, it has become a norm that the moment you become the governor, you want to take over the structure of the party. And you see, they want to take over, the governors want to take over the structure of the party, not only in APC, so also in PDP. The moment you want to take it over, so that at least at will, you can call the shots, so that it can sustain your stand as the governor, and which is unfortunate, because in the first place, my thinking is that the moment you have emerged as a governor, please face governance in the state, and let the party affairs be faced by the politicians. You should have, at that position, at that point, when you have emerged as the governor, you are no more the governor of that party from that brought you up. You are the party for the old. You are the governor for the whole state. But you now see that in the first 6 months, in the first 1 year, you see probably there is this struggle to take over the affairs of the party, and which is very, very unfortunate. And all of this, again, what suffers? It is governance that suffers. Let me quickly concentrate on governance. You see, today I sit back and I will say, look, as far as I know, God willing, I've visited most of the major continents in the whole world. I have found out that apart from the United States of America, that have the largest land mass as against above Nigeria, there is nothing that they have in America that Nigeria does not supersede when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to mineral resources, when it comes to resources. Is it human resources? We have abundant human resources now, which is very, very prominent. Then we now have abundant natural resources, which we are not even harnessing. Politicians don't even look at this. They are always thinking of how to take over the structure of their party, and they will do that for the next 4 years. That's why you see little achievements are recorded. Now, again, let us now go back. You see, if you are a governor and you know you are doing well, you have your cardinal points, and you are coming, you bring in your team, and you are facing it. Do you need to be fighting for the structure? If your party says no, the people will say yes. I'll quickly give a good example. When Fashola came in as governor first time, he was not interested in the party. He said he's not interested in the party. That Asiwaju is there. Let him go and face the party. That he is the governor. He wants to face that. Don't forget that I am no more the governor of ACN. That I'm the governor of Lagos State. And he faced it in his first 4 years. When there were issues that it was not going to be, or it was going to be, some of us came out and from TCT, the continuity team, Fashola for second time, and we're ready to take him out from his party and take him to another party where we know he's going to emerge, that are even willing, that we have negotiated to give him tickets, that look, let this guy come and be our governor. But along the line, Baba Akonde came in,
and fences were amended.
And the fences were amended. Fantastic. And because in the second time he was trying to play politics, that was why you cannot match his achievement in his first 4 years and his achievement in the second 4 years in office. So when you look at, when these governors does not face politics, they don't face governance, they face politics, they don't face governance, that is why we are where we are.
Look at the situation, just along the lines you're saying. Take Kwara, for example. The Honorable Minister of Information on the one hand, and the governor on the other. I don't know, how does it work out? I think the minister sees himself as the leader of the party, the APC leader in Kwara. And you know, traditionally, people think of the governor as the leader of the party. How does that work out?
And that's exactly the problem. You see, when we talk about political reforms, I think it should start from the political parties. When you become a governor, and you are automatically, according to the convention of these political parties, pronounce the leader of the party over and ahead of people who built the party to give you the platform to contest the election. I think it is wrong. And I am yet to see it anywhere else except in Nigeria. In the Second and First Republic, we knew that the political parties had leaders. Whether you emerge as a governor or president, it does not change the fact that Oluwole was the leader of UPN. And that Sadana of Sokoto was the leader of NPC, even when Tafawa Balewa was prime minister. So there were structures that would outlive any elected political office holders in those days. But today, the moment you become a governor, even local government chairmen pronounce themselves as leaders of the parties in their various local governments. It is absurd, and it creates this crisis. The coming of the governor in Kwara into APC is known to all. The progressive family have been under the leadership of Lai Mohammed in Kwara State for a long time.
That's right.
Whether they were winning elections or losing elections doesn't matter. He nurtured the party with his own people. I'm not speaking for him. I'm only saying, let us look at how we can allow governors to face governance. He cited an example here of Fashola. I want to add one. Tinubu, in his first term, left the leadership of the Alliance for Democracy to their fellow leaders.
Yeah.
And when he was going to run for a second time, and there were issues about his loyalty to these leaders or not, the people of Lagos, they spoke up for him, and he got the ticket. So if you face governance and you leave the issue of party, the people will speak up for you. But what is happening in Kwara today is a situation where the struggle for leadership of a party is affecting the fortune of the APC itself in the governance of the state. What came to be known as Otoge is a mass movement, only championed by APC, but a collective movement of the entire people of Kwara State. They wanted change. They said Otoge, but in the last few weeks, we've been hearing other slogans like Ofoka, Otuka, Otufo,
Atunde.
No, Atunde is even for the PDP people. Even within APC itself, we are hearing Ofoka, Otuka, Otifo, because they are not managing this success well. Infighting, internal wranglings,
there's a lot of acrimony going on.
Nonsense.
A lot of acrimony is going
on. The governor will do better if he will ignore the crisis within his party, leave party politics to others to handle while he faces them. And he can only do this if he is ready to let go the struggle for power. I'm not saying he should not be concerned as a politician, but he should show more interest in governance than politics.
It's gotten to the stage where the governor is even, it is desired by the faction over there that the governor should be ousted, not undemocratically.
Yes. That they should allow the people, party members to decide the fate. That he is sure that he cannot win re-election. He said it emphatically.
Daddy, my brother, let me just give you some little support. Let me tell you when...
I beg your pardon. Just hold it. Keep your gunpowder dry. I've got to go on a break now. So I'll resume and I'll come straight back to you on that very point that you wanted to give Daddy a bit of supportive evidence for his position. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back, and then we'll take your calls as well. Okay, welcome back. Still with us, Smart Oluwole Apejoye, political affairs analyst, and Dari Odufowakan, editor at The Nation newspaper. And just before we went on break, Dari had just posited a position, and you were going to, add to that.
You see, Abdurrahman that became the governor now, where was he 12 years ago? Where was he 8 years ago? Even 5 years ago, where was he? Now, let me come. You see, there is an aspect of our national anthem that said the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. Now, sincerely speaking, either you like it or not, Lai Mohammed has been very consistent with the ACN, APC, AD or whatever. He's been since after he
developing the party structure.
Since after he left as the CGS in Lagos, he went back to Oro, and the Oro, ACN, Baja, all this area come to offer, come to this, come to now Ilorin. These are the areas where I visited. Sometimes when you sit with the people, they will tell you that yes, that they support Lai Mohammed, but Lai Mohammed will low. You understand? I have had this thing that I was.
Is it that Kolowo or that he's not generous enough?
That's what they will say. So, but along the line, I think he was beginning to do better and back up with some other people, and at least they begin to see the Owo and they are supporting him. Now, thereafter,
this is an inescapable part of our local politics.
Of course,
inescapable.
Of course.
You must come with deep pockets.
You must come. So now, when they now came in now, okay, he does not want to be the governor. If he wanted to be the governor, he probably would have been the governor by now. That's the simple truth. Now they brought you, Abdul Rahman. For goodness sake, look. They say Yoruba will say Kafiori fun Olori. The Olori that should be forifun in that Kwara State should have been. See, if there is anybody, should have been Lai Mohammed. In all honesty. Now, if
simply because of his developmental work along the line.
But
you recall that there were public arguments along the lines of, I think Lai Mohammed was saying that, look, the National Assembly, go and investigate it. I sponsored, and then there was a counter argument. Say, who did you sponsor? You didn't sponsor anybody.
He didn't even have the money, and he was not even spending then. Because if that is one axis that I have a lot of friends, and even on social and trip, I go to all these areas. I know ACA, I know Baja, I know Oro, I know Ofa, and these are the people. I know most of the people that are even his ward chairman, his loyalist. We discuss. So, but coming back home, the simple truth is that I think it is right time. If Kwara is not careful, they are infighting. We make them lose that place, because Saraki have now realized that, okay, let me go and mend my home. And in mending his home, he went back to the grassroots. He traced his route back to the grassroots, and he's doing fantastically well. That I know. In the grassroots. And if he's doing it in the grassroots,
so Saraki, by the way, is in the opposition party in Kwara.
Now you must not give an opposition the chance to outrun you. And how do you do it? It is first in this infighting. So they must go back to put their home in order. I think their leader is back now.
Okay,
that is back now. So they don't need visa now to go to London. So let them they don't need visa to go to London. Let them come to Bodilon and sort themselves out now. For now, they should allow the man rest in his house instead of going about. Let them allow him rest in his house. They can bring their case to him, and he can also call them into order. If not, it is better you have it than you don't have it.
And so the congresses that were
the
going
congresses,
to work.
I see these congresses again is going to, if care is not taken, if it's not sorted out within now and the next few hours, that could be the break. And also again, you remember Oshun is still there. Oyetola and Adegbeshola, they are still there. And again, I begin to ask myself, what happens when somebody gets to the position of governor or maybe even local government chairman? That what happened, because you will probably be a very humble, a loyalist. But the moment you now have power, you now become something else. I have known Oyetola right from his days as the MD of Silver Trust at Falomo Shopping Complex. Him and Adegbeshola, they used to be extremely very close. What happened? Okay. Something must have happened along the line.
Benga in Abuja, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Good morning, the guest there. I want to comment on the issue of local government election as it happened in a Plateau State.
Okay.
A local government election has been winner takes all, and anybody ruling party. It's right. Yeah, local government election, when you operate through federalism, when they are given that they are independent, when they are give them the power to operate on their own. Now it's by selection, and that's why you see this party taking it off. But I will give credit to El-Rufai. For Kaduna State, he has been very plain. That's the only place where you see opposition win government elections. And until we get it right, in local government, we can't get that democracy right. Because this is the government closer to the people, where they can get the dividend of the democracy. I mean, that other 10 that the president not challenge in courts, I don't know what the outcome will be. Does the state governors allow them to spend their money on their own? There's no way we can have autonomy in local. This governor will see always. Some states do not even do local government election. They don't appoint administrators, and that will not help our democracy. And for Kwara State, APC there, I don't know what Oluwole Mohammed is doing there. They were expected leader of APC. They need to sit down and be a father. Politics will give and take. You can't take it all. You need to come together as a family and have that compromise, that family discussion. Okay. They will say, look, I must have it, you must have it. I'm telling you, what happens in Kwara will be a child play. And if they use Kwara again, I'm telling you, it's not be good for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. Dari, let me come to you. What Smart ended with the other time. That look, there's a heck of a lot of work that has to be done in Kwara, especially. And he remarked that Oluwole Ahmed Tinubu, he's now back on ground. As a matter of fact, politically, it's doubtful that he ever left, if you get my meaning. Yeah. But he's back on ground now. This can still be rescued. This situation in Kwara can still be rescued, do you think? Because it has to be done very, very quickly.
Yeah, there's a question,
before we go into the Congress.
There's a question that needs a serious answer. Can peace be restored? But the truth of the matter is there can't be reconciliation without fairness. The Kwara issue, equity. A lot of the narratives are not helping the matter. For those who would say Lai Mohammed claimed to have sponsored people, I didn't. I think they have been unfair. I followed the election, I covered the election, pre-election, the party primaries and all that. Lai Mohammed mobilized funds. Those who gave the funds, party loyalists, party chieftains, who brought money because of him are still alive and they've been talking. Many of those House of Reps members, I know of a senator who could not even pay for his own form.
Yeah, but these are the people that actually went into the press
and said
nobody sponsored them.
I am not a Lai Mohammed supporter. I'm only telling you the things that happen in Kwara. Many of these people went into the election without hope of winning. They just wanted to, okay, let's make sure APC have candidates. We will always lose. He encouraged them. He mobilized funds. If you talk to people who are actually on ground, in Kwara, those who were in the struggle, the Otoge struggle from the beginning. I heard some of the governor's supporters saying how Otoge was coined by some consultant. That's not true. A governorship aspirant used the term Otoge in 1983 and lost the election.
83?
83. And that is, he was in the progressive camp then. He was even just an aspirant, he was not a candidate. He used the term Otoge, and it was resuscitated for this by the progressives in Kwara State, led by Lai Mohammed. Funds were mobilized to assist people who emerged as candidates without money. The governor came, yes. This was when the issue started. Mohammed and his people have been the one mobilizing fund, sponsoring candidates all through the primaries. And when the governor came, you too, bring money. Let's continue the election. The governor felt that, no, I cannot. You have formed the campaign committee already now. You did not consult me. How can I fund an election to be carried out by people I don't know? You should have sought my inclusion. Yes, I agree. Maybe the leadership of the party as at then, represented by Mohammed Bemi Saraki. So people forget, they don't talk about Bemi Saraki. A serving minister too. He's on the side of Lai Mohammed in this. The question should be, these are the party leaders. Okay. These are the people who were there before Abdurrahman came. What is it that is not doing right? He is the governor. He is the one with the patronages. He should accommodate all other shades of opinion so that the state can move forward.
Well, maybe this is where Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who hit the ground on Friday.
Even if the matter goes to Asiwaju, he will want to look at it fairly.
Yes.
Equity, fairness. Okay, how can we redeem this? If you don't give honor to those who honors that, they will not give it. It's reciprocal.
Okay.
That's the issue.
Mr. Oluwole in Ikorodu, good morning, sir, and thank you for holding on. Go ahead now, please.
Oh, good morning, Uncle Yori. God bless you. And the panelists. Yes, what is happening in practice is the fault of What is happening in the state is the fault of the party policy. Okay? The APC has in their constitution that whoever is the governor automatically becomes the leader of the party in the state. Whereas we have a party chairman, de facto chairman, elected there for that office, who will take care of the affairs of the party. But the governors are too domineering. It's not only APC. It's in all the parties, the major parties, especially PDP and this team. And in respect of local government election, I think we should be ashamed of ourselves. As a ruling party, we always win all the chairmanship and local and councillorship posts. It's never
almost.
In Lagos,
almost.
There was a time that Obanikoro's son won. They allowed him to rule until the first time of APC. Is that politics?
Okay.
We are not right for what we are doing, party politics. Let us go back and think and do the right thing. God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Oluwole. So, time is of the essence. We're looking at a deadline of, this weekend. And as Dari has said, there's a lot of work to be done because it's not as if leaders don't do that. They won't just pronounce. They're going to look at the issue and they're going to be looking to see how can we sort this out? How can everybody be brought on board? But with everybody saying governors, they just are too domineering. Is there any lighting solution inside?
Don't forget also, in Lagos we also have our own. We have the Lagos for Lagos team, headed by Jando, or what is his name. He was conducting election. He conducted election, and he's still unsatisfied. He's still not satisfied. I think over the weekend or last weekend, his guys were still in Ikorodu at their secretariat in Ikorodu. They were still mobilizing. So, you see, there is a problem on ground. The simple fact is that what all these people should do is that, most especially as it concerns the area where it's so volatile, that is Kwara and Osun, they must step into it right now. And if I mean now, it is now. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow might be too late. Some few hours might be too late. We must, in the first place, let us pacify both the governor and the minister. And let them, if they are going to share the position, if they are going to share the position, yes, let them share the position so that there could be equity, so that it will not be just that, it is the governor that is taking everything, or it is the minister that is taking everything.
Whereas I appreciate, I understand when Gary analyzed it, to who the builder had been before the arrival of the governor.
The builder has always been, in Osun, the builder has always been Aregbesola.
Exactly. Now, Olawale was pointing out that the party's document, its own document, is what perhaps gives rise to this problem, in the sense that that document says that the governor is the leader.
I'll make a quick detour to UPN in 1983. In 1983, there were crises when there were going to be election in UPN. Then Kola Oseni was the organizing secretary for Lagos State UPN. So at any time there were crises, what the UPN would just do is that they would move their Baba Lambo was leading a group at Apapa constituency. What they would do is that everybody, that's a Butemeta and co, they will all come to Babaja Konde's house at Ilokpeju. Babaja Konde will say, Etituja, Aru, Kilo Shele, Lambo, Kilo Sofue, Kiniko. Before you know it, he will say, no. Jack Konde will handle it so maturely, and within the next 2 hours, we say, go back and me ofek bomo. And it will be like that.
But it is settled.
It is settled.
The matter has been settled.
Do we have that leader that could just say, look, I want this thing like this, and I don't want to hear this again? Because if you're not satisfied, you probably want to go to Park Lane, Baba Wolowo's house. Baba will tell you, kini carry this so.
Baba Kekere.
Kini carry this so.
That is whatever LKJ has said. That's what we should stand by.
The problem now is that you even find out somebody that if the governor is saying something else, somebody might be saying something else.
Okay.
It is because there is no...
Mr. Joshua in Irewolide, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
My greetings to your guest.
Yes.
I want to look at politics from the point of service to the people. And I'm asking myself, Uncle Yori, when are we going to get there? When is it going to get to that point where the focus is what is in the hands of the people? What is the dividend of democracy that gets to the people? Now, on this, I will indict the people as we being our own problems. You know, in Plateau, for example, if the ruling party is winning all the local governments, and the local government is the closest government to us, then how do we turn around to indict the government of non-performance? So, for me, the politicians will play their games, but the onus is on us as people, as a people, to decide what we want for ourselves. I've kept this on in my conversations with people, that as long as we keep voting for people based on how much money they have, we will never be able to demand for accountability or for service to us as a people. And I think we are at the level where Nigeria needs to change so that we can have a better life. Thank you, sir.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Well, classical, but you see, that argument, we've made it so often that, quite frankly, we just rested it to one side. Politics shouldn't be about personal interests in the sense of personal gain, finances. It should be all about service, but you know, that is much, it's more academic than anything else.
Yeah, because the policies we are talking about belongs to politicians, and this is done on the platform of political parties.
And exactly.
Unless
and only some people are ready to invest funds
in party politics.
Yes.
And if you're not part of them, how can you stay somewhere and say they are not doing it well?
This one of the
my late grandfather would say, "Oh, your opinion won't matter."
You were absent and now you're complaining about the division. How was it shared?
So looking at the, I didn't want to. You see, Mr. Smart said something about Osun, and I think it's important we say this. You cannot compare the Osun situation with Kwara. Aregbesola, Oyetola, and others built the Progressive Party in Osun together. During the struggle for the actualization of his mandate and all that, even he's going there to contest, himself and the people he's having issues now were together in this. What you're having in Osun is a situation where owners of a property are disagreeing. In Osun, owners of the house are disagreeing amongst themselves. And I see that being resolved very soon. If you look at the contention between Top, which is loyal to Aregbesola, and those loyal to the governor, you understand that it's more about principles. And issues based on principle are easily resolved. The governor came into office and made some changes, according to him, because the people demanded such changes. Then Aregbesola is yet to come out and complain that he is not satisfied with those changes. He has not done so. It is just some what people are called overzealous supporters, because Aregbesola himself did say that government is a continuum. It is not only the good things I do that you should continue with. You can also tinker with the things that I didn't do well, correct them, and move on. So they are in the same political party. There are things, if people say, there are claims that Oyetola abandoned projects by Aregbesola. These are not true. Some of the major, like the Onobaba Road that Aregbesola administration made a lot of issues about, noise about, a great project. Oyetola continued with it. He's even continued with projects by previous administration. It was Oyinlola's administration that got the permission for the gold refinery in Osun. Aregbesola, Oyetola is building the refinery to soon be commissioned.
Indeed.
There are roads that Aregbesola started that Oyetola is continuing with. If he now felt that one or two policies of governance needed to be changed, largely this issue started with the school reforms. That is at the root of the disagreement, and that's why it's based on principle. It can be addressed. The people, we all saw the fight.
I don't want to lose Professor. Okay. I'm so sorry. Professor Samuel Ibiemi is calling in from Kwara. Good morning, Prof.
Oh, good.
Professor Ibiemi. Professor Ibiemi in Kwara. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? God bless you.
Oh, good morning, Prof.
Yes. Good morning. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
We can hear you, sir. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead now.
MTN.
Professor, are you still there?
He lost that.
Oh dear,
It's gone.
I think we lost that. And somebody in studio said under the breath, MTN. MTN showed us over the weekend. So I don't know if Professor, the system-wide sort of collapse of MTN.
Total.
You know, it was total. Somebody said under the breath, but we don't know the network of Professor Samuel.
We are not sure it was MTN.
We're not sure it was MTN. Yes. I don't. In fact, we've just about, you know, how many minutes more do we have to go? Sorry, I'm not getting any confirmation.
So anyway, you see, like I've said, we must come back to the drawing board. That drawing board is that it's something very rosy. So if you want to come back there, let us begin to sort out this problem. Good enough that he made it. Oyetola, in the issue of Osun State, is fundamentally with the landlords.
Yeah.
With the builders.
Yeah.
But now, the issue of Kwara, they are with the
It's almost a tenant and
almost a landlord and tenant.
Yes, it's just that we run away from this reality.
So, but the simple truth is that, and there are so many things that this Abdurrahman is doing that it needs to be called into order. In the first place, I don't want to go into the listing, but then he created so many enmities coming in. He came in with so much. He came in with so much anger for a particular set, and I think the same thing now is going to transfer to what's it called, to the minister for Lai Mohammed. In the first place, if I were him, Lai Mohammed would be Lai Mohammed would become Taye and Kehinde.
Okay, very close.
It won't cost him anything.
It won't cost me anything.
I'm afraid we've run out of time. We've run out of time.
It's unfortunate.
But you gentlemen have made a very important point.
To save the party in Kwara. The governor should
we
save
don't
the
have
party
the time.
in Kwara.
So whatever solution is going to be brought about has to be done like yesterday.
In a matter of hours.
In a matter of hours.
Thank
you very much, Dario Odufowakan, Assistant Editor of the Nation newspaper, and Smart Oluwole Apejoye, Political Affairs Analyst. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I'm Yori Volaren. Bye-bye for now.